from the realm of pitch darkness to the realm of light and full knowledge as it today. Dear ladies and gentlemen, as for the series of events this afternoon. First event was the opening, as it has been going on. The second event, singing the national anthem Indonesia Raya, followed by the Thailand national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. The audience is invited to take their seat. Full knowledge as it today. Ladies and gentlemen, as for the series of events Audience, please sit down. The next reading of Riot, which will be read by Mr. Lauri Muhammad Yasmin, Bachelor of Nursing, Master of Art. Time and place are welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Distinguished guests, allow me to make a prayer for our activity today in Indonesia according to the Islamic tradition. For the who are non-Muslim, kindly adjust the prayer according to your respective belief. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya Allah, pada siang hari ini kami berkumpul dalam rangka mengikuti bisnis profesor dengan niat untuk menambah wawasan, memperluas pengetahuan, dan mempererat silaturahmi. Ya Allah, jadikanlah kegiatan ini bermanfaat, penuh berkah, dan membawa kebaikan bagi kami semua. Bukakanlah hati dan pikiran kami, agar mudah menerima ilmu yang disampaikan. Tuntunlah langkah kami untuk mengamalkannya dalam kehidupan sehari-hari. Ya Allah, berikanlah kesehatan, keselamatan, dan kelancaran bagi seluruh panitia, peserta, dan narasumber. Serta jauhkanlah kami dari segala hal yang dapat mengganggu kelancaran acara ini. Akhirnya kami memohon ampun atas segala dosa dan khilaf kami, kabulkanlah doa kami ini ya Allah. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Walhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Welcome by the Dean of the Faculty of Health Science, Mandala Walia University, to Dr. Andi Asri, Bachelor of Public Health, Master of Health. Time and place will engage you.
Terima kasih MC atas Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang saya hormati program studi. Yang saya hormati Ketua Program Studi Sarjana Kesehatan Masyarakat. Yang saya hormati Sekretaris Prodi Sarjana Kesehatan Masyarakat. Yang saya hormati panitia ya, visiting profesor. Yang saya hormati para dosen program studi sarjana kesehatan masyarakat. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Visiting professor are crucial in higher education institutions. The primary goal of the visiting professorship program in universities is to improve the quality of education, broaden the international horizon of students and lecturers, build academic network and the university knowledge transfer, research, and teaching by inviting experts from abroad or other institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, academic and curriculum development aims to provide new and up-to-date perspective on courses, especially those requiring specialist expertise in the quality of teaching in learning to international students, often using English as the medium of instruction and assist in the development curriculum and academic standard to align with global institutions. Furthermore, the development of international perspective aims to create an international academic atmosphere on campus and provide students and lecturers with hands-on experience interacting with experts from various countries. The theme of this visiting professor is the role of technology and innovation in disease prevention through environmental factor control, which will be presented by Professor Raichad Tantra Karnapa from Mahidol University, Thailand. Thank you, Professor, for your time as a speaker at our campus. This topic is crucial because there is spread both in infection and non-infection disease is largely driven by environmental factor. For example, in our region, Southeast Sulawesi is slowly becoming an industrial area, particularly mining. This has led to the emergence of many diseases due to environmental pollution. I hope this visiting professorship will broaden the scientific knowledge of public health lecturers and students. This conclude my remarks as then saying dengan mengucapkan Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The visiting professor is officially open. Saya buka dengan resmi. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The visiting professor with the theme The Role of Technology and Innovation in Disease Prevention through Environment Risk Control. The Journal of Public Health Study Program, which will present the research person and will be moderated by Mrs. Fitriati, the Journal of Public Health, Master of Health. We invite you to the time and place. Thank you, our dear Master of Ceremony. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, the honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, both on site and joining us via Zoom. Welcome to Visiting Professor Program organized by the Bachelor of Public Health Study Program. Sorry. Good morning, good afternoon, the honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, both on site and joining us via Zoom. Welcome to Visiting Professor Program organized by the Bachelor of Public Health Study Program, Faculty of Health Science, Mandala University. My name is Fitriati, and it is my honor to serve as the moderator for today's event. Today's theme is the role of technology and innovation in disease prevention to environmental risk control. This is a very relevant topic now, especially as environmental factors such as pollution, water quality, climate change, and sanitation continue to affect public health at number one. And then we appreciate the presence of our academic leaders, student, lecturer, and especially our invite speaker who has joined us today. Welcome, Professor Raichad Tantra Karnapa. How are you, Prof?
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Prof. I hope you always healthy and happy every day. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before entering the main session, I am going to deliver a little bit information of our speaker today. Our speaker today is Professor Dr. Haicha Tantrakarnapa from the Faculty of Tropical Medicine, Mahidol University, Thailand. He is an expert in environmental health, environmental impact assessment, climate change, and health and environmental management system. Prof. Fajar has more than 25 years of professional experience serving as consultant for national and international institutions, including WHO, IOM, JICA, UNDP, GIZ, and the Thailand Ministry of Public Health. He has been actively involved in various research projects related to air pollution, climate change impact on health, environment risk management, occupational health, and public health innovation. He has also received prestigious international awards, including Outstanding Contribution Award to Environment and Health of Asia in 2018, Outstanding Research Award from ISCS in 2019, Academic Contribution Award from NIDA in 2020, Role Model in Environmental Health Award, Ministry of Public Health Thailand in 2023, and then Distinguished Alumni Merit Award, Chiang Mai University in 2024. And in addition, Prof. Rajat is widely recognized for his research productivity with numerous publications in Scopus and high-impact Q1 journals, including the Lancet Planetary Health, the Lancet Regional Health, Environmental Research, Nature Water, and Science Report, and many others. I can mention one by one. Without further delay, please welcome Professor Fletcher to deliver your presentation. You have 1 hour, Prof, your presentation. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Selamat siang. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone can get and can see my PowerPoint presentation, right?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, okay. And also both participants in this room, and also I found many participants from online, right? Okay, yeah, this is my talk. Before I start to talk about this topic, I would like to invite and give information to all of you. If you are interested in higher education in our university like Mahidol, including my faculty, you are welcome, right? Because scholarships are available for all of you, particularly for ASEAN country member. You can apply to our university. Every year we provide the scholarship. And one more thing, I would like to apologize that this morning because I have to attend a meeting with IC, that International Society of Environmental Epidemiology, since I was selected from the committee to organize the international conference in 2027. Uh, at this moment, I also would like to invite all of you, professor, lecturer, staff, and students to participate for the coming conference. You can present your study result. You can come and join us. A good chance for you to participate with international foreigners, researchers, and professors. Okay. Yeah. For detail, I will give your information to your professor later about this one. But for the first thing, if you are interested, you can connect to our website to see the available scholarship to study at Mahidol University. And yeah, I think the number of the scholarship is quite big number for Southeast Asian country. Okay. Yeah, this is the role of my talk about the role of technology and innovation in disease prevention through environmental risk control. As we know, right now we have many issues about the environment. Okay, this is the content of my talk about the change of environment, about the health status, because we are working and we are studying about the health science of public health. Then health issue is very important for us. How can we protect our people, our health? Then we should understand about the health status. And since we have the linkage between environment issues and also the health issues, then we have to understand about the linkage or relationship between the change of environment and our health. And another one about technology and innovation that we need to use it to improve our health, to protect our health. And the controlling approach is very important. And the last one is challenge for public health officer, a researcher, and also professor. How can we have technology or invest our money, our budget to have the innovation or technology to control the disease transmission, including to protect our health. This is a challenge for us. Okay, I think this one, I do believe most of you understand about the environment. Just to remind you again about the meaning of environment. It's a simple word of environment is everything surround us, surrounding area, including people, including like physical. You live in Kendari, and the air quality in Kendari is important for your health. But if you live in the society, like the contamination of chemicals, not only in the air, but in your food, in your drinking water, and in our house, also very important right now because many chemicals are used long time ago, but right now we can see the evidence of health impacts from chemical exposures and biological factors. Because, for example, the air quality, we take a breath to our body by your nose to respiratory system. It's not only particulate matters, it's not only the gases, but there are some biological agents in the air that we have to concern, right? This is the meaning of environment. It can be physical, it can be biological, it can be another thing is human use value that we build. We build our land, we build our house, we build our building, we build our hospital. But if we did not concern about that one, the chemicals can be available in our room, our bedroom, our classroom, right? Yeah, this is environment. But how can we control? Because it can be from the nature, it can be from human activities. Because we change the land, we change the topography for making a building, making many things, many equipment for human purpose that we call human use. We do everything for our purpose. For example, the mobile phone, right? We use it for what? For surviving. Right now, everyone we have the mobile because it's convenient. You can connect to internet. You can read. You can write from that. Yeah, you can use as communication. And then all the things it might influence our life, our health, that we call quality of life. For example, the young generation, if they use more mobile, they might have some problem like eye irritate because all the time they play the games, use mobile, concentrate on that. Right? This is one thing the impact to our health. If we did not concern about this, particularly for young generation, and then How can we do? First, we have to understand about the environment, and then we have to understand about the relationships between environment and our health. That's very important. And if we can control and we have better quality of environment, that seem to be that, okay, our quality of life will be better. We have a good health and also the good health and well-being in our society. Yeah, that's very important one. Okay, I give you a little bit about the change of the environment first, because we live in this society. Our previous like grandma, they live it hundreds years ago, but actually in our environment, we found the history that we lived million years ago in the jungle, in the forest. At that time, we are the hunter. We try to do many things. If you are hungry, you go to the jungle to find something, right? As a hunter. But after that, some observe that, okay, if you still do like that as a hunting, some of them, they might be disappear, as we know from the history. Then some of the people at that time just start to settle themselves, start to do plantation, to do the crop, and for only for the family and relatives. But after that, they need to sell their products, because then when they did more, that means over demand, they need to sell. That start to be commercial, right? When we do something, okay, maybe in the country as nation level, or if we have more, we can export to other country. That we change a lot. At that time, we extract many things from environment. We also damage our environment. And the last one, this one about the imperialism, because some rich country or strong country just come to developing country, try to attack and get many resources from developing countries. Yeah, that's the era. And then we should concern our environment has been changed from that time. But now we live in the society as the era of globalization, urbanization, including climate change, right? As moderator or MC mentioned about the climate change, it's very hot issue right now, because last month we have a big meeting or conference about climate change that we call COP30 in Brazil. I also observe Indonesia, also a member country of UN, but also participate, including Thailand. We participate a lot about the change of climate change and the change of our health. Then it's very important for globalization and urbanization. Okay, I will start from the current situation of environmental problems. You can see that in general, the oh, the environmental problems like climate impacts. It might be extreme weather. I'm not sure. Right now, the situation in Kedali, you have extreme weather. Now in Thailand, we have every year we have extreme event like very hot. Some years the temperature in ambient, in summer period, reach 45 degrees Celsius. You can imagine 45 degrees Celsius. I do believe that in Kendari maybe lower than that, right? Not hot like in Thailand, in some part of Thailand. Yeah, the rising in temperatures, rising of sea level. You can see maybe Kendari quite difficult to observe, but in Jakarta, you can see many like land subsidence, many parts of Jakarta, including Bangkok as well, the capital of Thailand. We have a problem of land subsidence. Land subsidence means because we extract the groundwater, we do many things, and our land is reduced compared to mean sea level. That's very risky because in the future, if the ice is melting from North and South Pole, that means our sea level in the ocean, in the sea, it will be increased. Yeah, it might cause the flood. We have a problem of pollution, water pollution, even though in the world we have, in our world we have the main component is water, but for the clean water, safe water that we can use, that we can drink, is very small fraction. Noise level, particularly nearby the roadway, nearby the expressway, nearby the industrial zone. The plastics also the issue right now, not only in the city, but in the environment that we found micro nanoplastics in the ocean, in the sea, and also a tissue of small living thing, including fish, shrimp that we capture from the ocean, from the sea. Air quality, as I mentioned, in Thailand, Bangkok, we also have a big problem of air quality, particularly for particulate matters in the transition of rainy season to cold season. And many other pollutants right now are less as the big problems in our society. Biodiversity loss. As I mentioned before that, some species are disappear, right? Are disappear. Deforestation in Thailand. Now we found that number, a percentage of the land of the forest is decreased and decreased. Then our government has to set up the regulation to protect the deforestation. Water scarcity, particularly summer period. We need to consider this one. Water scarcity is not only, okay, we have a big problem of shortage of the water, but in terms of public health, since the small volume of fresh water or surface water is reduced, then they cannot push the seawater from the sea, from the ocean. At my faculty, since we have our own hospital, during the summer period, we have to monitor about the contamination of the chloride ion, sodium ion due to the seawater intrusion to the river. Because in Bangkok, we use water from Chao Phraya River, the biggest and longest river in Thailand. And then before we use it, we have to treat it properly. But now it's quite difficult to treat the water to be a tap water because the sodium ion, chloride ion from the seawater intrusion is increased. And then if we did not monitor that one, it might damage to our medical device. As I mentioned, in our faculty at our hospital, we have the monitoring system to monitor about the tap water, the concentration of the chloride ion, sodium ion, to make sure it's acceptable. Otherwise, it might damage to our medical device, medical equipment. That's very important due to the change of the environment, seawater intrusion. Okay, I think everyone know about the health definition from the WHO. Health is not only physical health. We have to consider about mental issues as well, including social well-being. Health is not only absent from the illness, right? Free from diseases. No. Health, we have to consider both physical well-being, your body, your physical health, right? Mental health, about your concern. Social well-being, also very important. I think everyone know about the conflicts at the borderline of Thailand and Cambodia. Villager, local people who live along the borderline in Thailand right now, even don't have a good physical health, but mental health is not good for them because they concern a lot about about their life. Since they cannot work properly as usual, they have to evacuate themselves and relatives, family members to the safe zone, safe area. They cannot live as normal in their home along the borderline. That means their health is not so good in terms of mental health and social well-being right now. Yeah, this is also linked from that. Okay, for the environmental health concept, since the linkage between environment and health, first we have to understand from our environment that might induce impact to our health. If our environment is contaminated with the sources of toxics or harmful, that toxics, it might be transmit to our life by exposure. You live in the environment with air pollution, both indoor and outdoor. That means you export from the air pollutant and take to the breath to your respiratory system. Finally, your health. You are as receptor. You got some toxicants from the air. Right? This concept of environmental health. Then, if you want to protect your health, your people health in terms of public health, you have to understand from the sources how can we control from the source as the first priority. But the second thing, how can we protect us from the exposures? That's quite difficult because we live in the air. We cannot stop breathing, right? Only 1 minute you cannot survive without air. But now, even if you take a breath every second, every minute, but the air quality is only contaminated with some pollutants, some toxic gases that might induce impact, cause impact to us. The last one, how can we protect? You live in a good air quality in your house, your classroom, in the hospital, right? Or if you have to go out, you have to wear the mask. How about the mask? Can you rely on that mask? How about efficiency of mask that you wear? It is important. Okay, I will give a little bit about this one. Since I think last week I also present to master student, right? And this very important right now. Normally, we concern for our health that we call individual health. But study health science or public health, not only for our health, but we have to concern about other peoples in the community, other family members in the community, right? That we call public health. It's a sign of protecting or improving our health in the society, people in the society. But public health is only small scale, like community. But from the history, you can see like COVID-19 or monkeypox, it can be distributed, it can be transmitted from one country to the others. Like as we know about the COVID-19 originated from Wuhan in China, but finally COVID-19 already distribute to other countries. Every countries in the world, I do believe, including Indonesia, including Thailand. And that year, about 3 years, we have many deaths from COVID-19. That we call global health. It's bigger scale, country to country. You live in like Canary, you can fly to Bangkok only 1 day. People from Thailand, if they are infected with COVID-19 and go to and visit Canary, their COVID-19 can be transmit from them to the local people. That's we call global health. But individual health, public health, global health, we concern only people health, human health, but we forgot that there are relationships between our life and ecosystem, our environment, including the animals. And from that, then we have to concentrate or focus not only human health, we have to understand about the animals, about the ecosystem, that disease can be transmitted from wildlife, from animal to people that we call zoonosis, including ecosystem. If environment is contaminated with something, it might cause impact to our health. And the last one, yeah, might be quite new for other graduate student about planetary health. Planetary health is bigger than that because we did not concern only people health, animal health, like wildlife or ecosystem or environment, but we have to concern about the society, about socio-economics that might induce impact to us. As we know, socio-economic, it depends on the policy maker. If policy maker just make a decision, okay, we have to do this, we have to follow this, but the strategy or the policy or plan for policy maker, if they guide it in the wrong direction, it might cause many impacts to the societies. As you know, why we have many conflicts among the countries in the world? Because policymakers of each country make decisions and impact finally to people's health, even though they don't know detail about that, but they are the victims from policymakers. That's very important. Right now, okay, for the health status, yeah, that I mentioned, this is also very important. If we don't know the data or information about the health status, how can we help the people, help the government, help our nation or country to protect them from the harmful? Then we should understand about mortality, like death, how many of deaths. For example, COVID-19, some country it's quite difficult to find the number of death, number of morbidity, right? And then how the government respond to that. Why WHO have to monitor daily basis how many days of COVID-19 in each country, in each province in Thailand? We consider by province, by districts, because we want to control properly from the source, from the infected people, right? We should have the data. The health data right now is very important, like including morbidity. In the hospital, it might be inpatients, outpatients. If we don't know the number, the figures of the patient in the hospital, it's quite difficult. How can we manage for that? How can we ask a response from the government? Please support the budget for us because now we have the number of patients bigger than our capacity, right? That's very important. The disease, we have to understand what are the diseases right now is outbreak, right? It might be infectious diseases, including NCD, due to the urbanization, due to the globalization. Now we have a lot of cases from NCD. Yeah, health status is very important. Then I would like to introduce you about the health status and the health map. I think you know about this one. Have you ever seen about the health map? That's very important because you will understand the current situation. Each dot smaller than a number of small cases. But if you saw, right, if you see from this, the bigger dot, that means we found a big case. A big number, it might be outbreak. And if you want to know, oh, what are they in your country? right? In Indonesia, in Sulawesi, you have to click to this map because it's online, it's in real time. You can see, for example, if I click to Indonesia, you can see there are two alerts of the disease. The first one about the, I think in this, it might be TB, right? We found the TB case in this city, or we also found a case of fever in Sulawesi, right? And then if we go into detail for each city, you can see number of cases in the health map. This is always update as daily basis. Then you have more information, and the government have more information to respond for that. It's also very important. And for the environmental health concept, as I mentioned about source, pathway or media and receptor, but at the sources that can come and lead to our health by the route of exposure, normally by inhalation. By take a breath into your respiratory system past your nose. Normally, our body, like physical health, we have the prevention. As you know, from under your nose, you can see we have a hair. The hair is like a filter. It's a natural filter to protect the dust, to protect something from ambient to your respiratory system, finally to your lung, right? But ingestion is from eating, from consumption, and also drinking. If you drink the contaminated waters, including E. coli, that means it might induce a diarrhea to your health. And dermal absorption now also very important, And I went to Canterbury many times. We also have the research together about the young generation, the kids, due to the exposure to chemicals like endocrine disrupting chemicals. I have a paper including compare between Thailand, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, Korea, and Bangladesh. We found very interesting information because for the young generation, the kids that we take as urine samples, we found many chemicals in their urine. And from where? We observe many sources of chemicals that we found in urine. It can be from injection, like if they drink water with contaminated, that they used plastic bottle, but the plastic quality is not good. It can release the chemicals, like including plasticizer, to the water, and then when we drink it, that way we found the chemicals in urine. Inhalation as well. You live in your home, and some chemicals in the air can be penetrated to your body. Dermal as well, because young generation, the parents use soap, use lotion for their kids. Some lotions or some soap is only contaminated with the chemicals, and the chemicals can be absorbed to their skin. That's why we found many chemicals in the kids' urine. And the last one about injection, because right now some people they want to have more look more beautiful, look more handsome. They go to some countries, including Thailand, and do some surgery and also inject, the plastic into their body, into their face. Yes, it's a very hot issue right now. We have to concern. That means route of exposure is not only before that we have only 3 routes, but now we have injection also very important. of the contamination. You see inhalation. For inhalation, okay, as I mentioned, if we know the exposure, how can we do to control the disease? We have to use environmental health concept to be a good health and well-being according to target number 3 of SDG. We have to understand the linkage of this. First is the source. Is it possible to control source? Is it possible to control the pathway? Is it possible to control at the receptor to protect your health and people health? Right? That we call environmental health. For the term of environmental health, according to WHO guideline, they recommend that environmental health is a branch of public health. But we focus about how about the surrounding or the environment like air, water, food, soil, your house, your ecosystem, your environment that might impact to human health, affect to our health. And then the role of environmental health is to prevent the illness. How can we prevent? First, you have to know what are these. We have to identify. If you know it from identification process, the next you have to evaluate. If you export, if you live in that environment, how about the health? How about the possibility or probability to get the cancer, lung cancer, if you live in polluted city? And the last, if you know from identification, if you evaluate or assess the impact, and then you know how to control the harmful from everything that surround us, like physical, chemical, biological, including the built environment in our society. And from the right graph, this is fact sheet, you can see the environment that might induce impact to our health. It might be from air pollution. It might be from water pollution. It might be from chemicals. It might be from radiation. It might be from many things in the environment. Then we should understand the situation of environment in our society. This example of the areas of the environmental health, like climate change, as I mentioned before, about extreme weather, about the increasing of temperatures, about the rising of seawater level, about the drought situation, right? About the flood. Air quality is both not only ambient, but now we have to concern about indoor air quality as well. Many countries, we found a big problem of indoor air quality. Like in Thailand, we found in a group of indigenous group in the mountainous area, because they live in mountainous area, the weather is quite low in the winter. Then they have to protect from the cold water. They have to warm themselves in the house. They use a wood, they use a charcoal to get warmer, to heat that one. But when you burn the wood, right, or charcoal, it induces the gases or pollutants. And then you live in that house. And that means you export to that. This example of indoor air quality. And also the chemicals, as I mentioned, the dust, pathogens, it might be attached in particulate matters in the air. Water quality. Now in Thailand, we have a big problem, the borderline of Thailand and Myanmar, because in Myanmar side, they have a big mining, including coal mining. And during maybe last 5 years, they start to operate the mining. They use chemicals. They did not, manage, operate the mining properly. And finally, they cause many damage to our water, our river, particularly fresh water, like the heavy metals contamination in the river. Now we have to inform local people. You cannot use water for drinking, for general consumption. And you cannot, even though capture the fish, do fishery from that river, and you can get the fish, you cannot eat it. We recommend try to avoid to eat the fish from that river because it is contaminated with high concentration and exit acceptable level according to WHO guideline, according to Department of Health in Thailand recommended. Food safety as well. How can we protect? As we know right now, because we need to do the plantation agriculture, but the purpose is for commercial, just sell, not for only from family member. And then they did it as like huge volumes. They use many chemicals. It's unsafe for us. The hazardous substance that toxic in our daily life. I think you can investigate in your home many toxics. If you use spray to kill mosquitoes, if you use chemicals to clean the floor in the toilet, even though in your house, that means the chemicals, right? The pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers, including pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals right now, as we know, if you consume a lot over the limit, that might be harmful to our health. The personal care products also a hot issue right now because we use a lot. Young generation, they use the lotion, they use the cosmetics a lot. And some cosmetic or lotion are not good qualities, are contaminated with the chemicals. The built environment, we should have the safe house, workplace, and communities in a good conditions. And the waste management, because every day we consume, we eat. Finally, it will be waste because we cannot eat all. Like if you bought the vegetable from the market, you cannot eat all. You have to trim, and then finally you have to dump it into the trash as a waste bin, and finally go to landfill for disposal, including the wastewater as well. Right? This is the area of environmental health. And then the key components of environmental health is how can we prevent our people, our health, stopping it first, including injuries and disease, before we have a big problems, including the outbreak of that. How can we prevent the disease? The health promotion also very important because we have to educate the people to understand the situation, like climate change. Some people, they said, oh, climate change is not true. It's a fake news. I think, from COP30, some countries, they did not join and participate because they do believe that climate change is not true. Climate change is our daily life. You can see the flood, you can see the heavy precipitation, heavy rain, the cyclone, the change of environment due to the change of the climate. This we have to distribute and give the people to be aware and understand this one. Equity is also very important because from SDG, we have the target, okay, we should have similar accessibility. Everyone can access to the health facility, but it's still on the way to that, to achieve the goal. Then we need to concern about equity, particularly for vulnerable populations like indigenous group low income communities, they cannot access, they cannot afford the budget to access the health facilities. Some they live in the mountainous area, takes a time, drive a car, drive motorbike to the hospital or health center. I think in Thailand we have a lot of indigenous group. You can see from this photo, many ethnic groups of the people who live in Thailand. I think similar to Indonesia, you have indigenous group in different islands, different part of Indonesia by this. And important thing is the last one, as I mentioned about planetary health as well. It depends on policy maker. We should have the policies, master plan. We should establish regulation to control the environment, both emissions and also ambient environment. How can we enforce the regulation? How can we, even though we have standard, but we cannot enforce the standard for industrial sectors? Okay, from WHO, they mentioned this is the fact sheet about the environment, right? Air pollution, we call it the silent killer. Every year, 7 million deaths from air pollution exposure. You can see from this photo, Southeast Asia country, Thailand, including Indonesia and India. This is number more than 2 million. Every year we have a death case. Mortality is quite high in this region. You can see from the color, black color and gray color here. And then the first step is we have to understand about the environmental problem. First, start from the identification to identify what is it. Environmental issues is air pollution, water pollution, is waste, and then you evaluate them and then control the sources. Okay, for the identification, you can see you can list the issue or question that what are our health hazards? It might be physical hazards. It may be chemical hazard, biological hazard, including ergonomic hazards. If you live, you work in your like hospital, in school, but how about the chair that you use 6 hours a day that you have to work there, but it's not ergonomic. The finally maybe low back pain, or you have a big problem of muscle due to your room, your office is not ergonomic concept, right? First, we have to identify the hazards. Okay, I will give you this example. This is, if you want to know something, right now AI is very important. Computer information is very important. We have a lot of data, but you don't know how to use the benefit from the data. It's meaningless. Then this is technology that I would like to give you information about information, because right now we have the big data. If you consider for Indonesia, even though only in Sulawesi Island, data a lot, but how can use the benefit from the data? This is example we have to understand. We use technology, we use computer as the tool to understand. Like I call time series study. If you have the data, you have to understand, oh, we have to see and then from not only 1 year, only 1 day, but you have to go back maybe 20 years if you have the data available there, or 30 years, or 50 years. Yeah, we call time series study. Because if you don't know about this one, you don't know, you know only current situation, but how about the history? How about last year? How about last 5 years? You cannot compare it. Right? Then when we start using time series study, particularly public health, because you understand about the short-term effect from that, or it might cause the long-term effects. Because if you go back to the history, 5 years, you find that, oh, this is the long-term exposure. Why we have NCD, why we have the cancer a lot? Because they expose it for longer time. Is cumulative exposure. Because they live, they survive in that society. These people, they have a lung cancer because, oh, they live in that family with the smoker. They are classified as secondary smoker. And finally, we found lung cancer in that case, even though they did not do smoking, right? This we call the use time series to study not only the current situation, but go back to the history to identify the health impacts assessment. And then you should have the research question in your mind. Why? Oh, we have a case of lung cancer in Kendari. Why in Makassar we have more TB cases compared to Kendari? Yeah, this is also the way that we have to think. You have to use the data to analyze, use time series analysis, impact about exposure to the environment, for example, of climate change, the air pollution. And this example of time series, as I mentioned, if you have the data, but you don't know how to use it, benefit from that, it's meaningless, as I mentioned. But this is example from my paper, for 2 paper, since we have the data of air pollutants, this is particulate matters in one province in Thailand, in the northern part. I use time series to analyze the pattern. You can see the pattern of air pollution, PM10 concentration from 2009 until 2017 at that time. You can see the pattern is quite similar. We have the peak every year. And for each peak, yeah, you can analyze more detail, use the technology of computer and also the computer software to analyze this one. And on the right side, yeah, from that, I try to use similar approach, but analyze by daily basis or by hour to see, oh, the peak from where? Peak when? In the morning or in the afternoon? At the weekday or holiday or weekend? Then you can protect the people. Like if you say that, oh, for 24 hours, we found the peak in the morning, like this, we have to set up the warning system to our people, use technology as the website. You can connect to website to see. Oh, right now in Thailand, we have right many application using mobile. Anywhere in Thailand, you can see the situation or air quality in every year in Thailand. Just connect to internet, you can see, oh, air quality in my province, in my city, is high or not, is risky or not. Yeah, this we use the technology to monitor and analyze by the software or information technology. This is an example that I use time series and then analyze with computer programming. This is also similar that one. Yeah, but from that we analyze and so we try to link between the data that we have. We try to develop the regression modeling, the computer modeling to predict or forecast the pattern in this province. This example we use computer modeling, and this one we also link between environmental contamination of air pollution due to the biomass burning linked to the respiratory and cardiovascular hospital disease in northern part of Thailand because we have information. But how can you use benefit from information or data that you have and link to the hospitalization data or the health? You can see like the peak, and we found the high case of cardiovascular or respiratory disease or not. Yeah, we have to understand this. And this is another one, as you know, you go to like maybe to the jungle, exposed to the high temperature, doesn't mean you have the health problem at that time. It might be delay from that I use the word, when you expose to this, time is delay. The health outcome, like, okay, you got the illness, you have the fever, maybe after 2 days, 1 day, that we call lag time or delay. The time is delay. Normally, the health outcome is not linear like this. Normally, it's non-linear with the lag time. Like today, you go out and with heavy raining, you expose to that. The day after, tomorrow, maybe you can get the fever, the flu from that we call lag time. Yeah, this is also information and technology you have to understand. Yeah, and sometimes, maybe not from heavy rain, but it might be from because you expose to your close friend, you attend the classroom and sit nearby your friend, and he got the flu. Like the disease can be transmitted from your friend to you. It might be multiple exposures, not only from heavy rain, it might be from other people, your friends. Yeah, you can see this is it's not easy to identify from there. Then you have to use information technology to identify, to understand this. I will give you an example of my publication, my paper, that we use the time series as the delay time like this. This is the knowledge effects of different humidity and health outcome is scab typhus in Thailand. Yeah, you can see we use a time series. You can see a case of scab typhus. We found the peak, and then we analyze why we have a case of scab typhus with the environmental factor like temperature, humidity, moisture content. Yeah, we analyze from this. We use epidemiology concept. And I will give you an example from the hazards of environment, like the air quality, air hazards. This example, air quality in Thailand that I mentioned. You can connect to the website. You can see at your current situation, your current city, your village, your community, how about air quality in this period, in this time, in this hour. You can see this one. We use technology. How can we know that one? Because in Thailand, this is Thailand, we have the ambient air quality monitoring stations for the whole country. Right now, we have more than 100 ambient air quality station to monitor, to measure air quality. And then we can inform our people. This is we use technology of ambient air measurement. But right now we can use satellite to monitor the air quality as well. And then you can inform the people by providing application. Everyone can connect to internet, use smartphone, you can see the current. In order to prepare yourself, if you want to go out, you have to wear the mask or not. Yeah, this is that we use technology to monitor, to warn the people by using warning system. And this another my papers about this one. You can see this one another paper, harmful of particulate matters to our health. This another papers, long-term exposure. We analyze health impact assessment. There's also seasonal variation of air pollution in Thailand. And this is also we analyze, use technologies. This is the pattern. Yeah, as I mentioned, that before I show this one, because I have to analyze the data, maybe more than 10 years, 20 years that we have available data, and we, generate, we call calendar of pollution. You can see that means we have a big data. How can you analyze? From this is calendar of pollution. We can warn the people, local organization, Putra, the health officer in provincial level, district level, or sub-district level, to warn the people and to prepare themselves during this January, February, March, April, that 2 months are risky for their health, for local people. And different regions of Thailand, different pattern. It's not the same pattern. Even though Thailand is a small country, but the distance from north to south is quite long, more than 1,000 kilometers. Yeah, we should have different approach for different regions like this. And give you this example from our paper. This is our publication. We analyze the air pollution for the whole countries by province, and then we combine the region and nationwide. And we analyze that, every year at that time, 50,000 people in Thailand are passed away. They die from air pollution exposure, particularly PM 2.5. And the cause of mortality, excess mortality, is equivalent to 15% of GDP. It's quite big number in 2016. But if we can provide a budget to prevent this, that means we can set the budget from this money. Then we should have something, right? The findings from it we provide to our policy maker, Ministry of Public Health, Ministry of Natural Resource Environment. How can we control? Because public health, just hospital, health personnel, but Ministry of Natural Resource Environment, you know about the sources. How can you control the sources, right? We have to work together as partnership to control the exposure of PM 2.5 in order to prevent excess death every year, and we can save the money from this. This is also another paper that I want to show you about physical component, physical environment, because the air pollution, as I mentioned, PM 2.5, when we analyze in detail, we found many metals in particulate matters, PM 2.5, even though you can not see PM 2.5 because it's very small. We cannot see with your eye, but we found metals in that small size of particle, PM 2.5, that means 2.5 micron. There's many heavy metals. Metals, cadmium, chromium, that harmful to our health. Lead, zinc, nickel, manganese, all are metals harmful to our health. You can see. We also compare with haze and non-haze. That means the haze period is high pollution because people, after harvesting, they burn their biomass from their farm, from the agricultural areas. But non-haze, wet season, you can see the different. We have a big problem from haze period. And then from this, we can estimate about the health hazards, including cancer, if some of them are carcinogen. And this one, we also use computer modeling as technology to see from where, this is we trace back from the source or location. We found a problem here, but source not from Thailand. This is the case, this period, we found the burning from Myanmar, from the west of Thailand, and finally dispersed to Thailand in this period. Then we have to understand about technology. We use computer modeling to see the movement of air. Yeah, that we call transitory effect from our neighboring countries. And this one, yeah, technology important because you cannot use your eye to tell the people, to inform the people, oh, in my country, in my hometown, we have a big problem of air pollution. How can you know that one? Because from my eye. Because I saw, right, it's not clear, but from your eye is not scientific approach. Then you have to use technology, scientific approach. We have to analyze in laboratory is also technology. Like this, we go to the site, we use a filter, we collect the filter, but we analyze the contamination of the PAH, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon. Some of them are carcinogen. We can identify. We compare. Yeah, this is in different city, different province in the north. We compare the haze and non-haze. We can see the different species of this, right? Technology that mean laboratory skill is very important. You have to learn how to use the machine. I went to somewhere, I saw the machine, I saw the equipment, but they didn't use. I asked them why not use? Because I don't know how to use it. Yeah, this is also technology knowledge. We have to understand this one. Yeah, that I mentioned physical, chemicals before that, and biological agent also very important. Even though PM 2.5, when we take a sample, we analyze heavy metals, we analyze concentration, but biological agents also contaminate in the air. Yeah, this one we use sequencing after we collect the sample, the filter. We analyze the species of biological agent like fungi or bacteria to analyze. And from this, you can see what are they? And some species, they might induce impact to our health, cause allergy, or cause a lung cancer or not, right? This is we need to use technology to understand, as I mentioned, laboratory scale. And for the control at the sources, right, for air pollution, first, you have to control the source for emission. You have to understand about technology. For example, this one, the cyclone. Cyclone is equipment that we use to capture the pollutants, the emissions. By using this equipment, finally you can separate this dirty air, and finally you can generate the clean air at the outlet by using this technology. This example of cyclone. Actually, we have a lot of technologies to control the emissions. This example, right? Yeah, this is also technology. And this is the understanding of the source, right? To control, like for example, COVID-19, TB, the technology that we have to use, the medical guidance, or you can imagine during the COVID-19 in my hospital, we have a COVID case. At first, we cannot identify who are COVID-19 cases. Quite difficult for us because to identify this, we need to take a sample from the patients and then analyze it in laboratory. It might take more than 24 hours. You can see that maybe 3 days and sometimes 1 week. Oh, it takes time to do that. But finally, we can identify only 1 minute, right? 3 minutes. We're using test kits. There's also development of technology. How can we identify the case of COVID-19? At that time, in my hospital, in my faculty, we use the screen, use the open air to monitor, and we use negative pressure room, we use positive pressure room to investigate the COVID-19 patients. We prevent them to the building, to the hospital. Otherwise, it might be transmitted to the others. This example, we use technology. And in our university, our hospital, we use robot to control, right? We use robot to contact our patients. The doctor, the nurse, it's not necessary for them to visit the patient. We use the robot to visit the patient room and contact. We use the video. We can ask the patient. The patient can respond to that. The robot can offer food, can offer medicine to the patient. Yeah, at that time, the COVID-19, we use a robot. We use technology. And for the second thing, if we can control the sources, but how about the pathway? Yeah, we need to control this one. Like if we have a infectious disease, how can we kill the pathogen at your room, your home, your dormitory, your workplace, your university? Hygiene is very important, right? The personnel, the habit of the patient is so very important. How can we protect the others from the patients? We have to clean our home, right? This is the example of household sanitation, personnel sanitation, personnel hygiene. And as I mentioned about the negative or positive pressure room that we use in our hospital, because we want to protect our health personnel, health staff, doctor, nurse from COVID-19 patients. We separate, we isolate the COVID-19 case in isolate room. At the first period, we have to contact them by where the personnel protective equipment. Yes, it's quite difficult for us, for our staff, to take care of the patients. But finally, as I mentioned, we use a robot. Yeah, this is technology. This also including engineering concept, engineering background to design the room for patients. Yeah, this is example of that we modify our room and make the positive pressure room, negative pressure room to control the transmission of the disease, particularly COVID-19 or TB. Yeah, and also we use the filtration like HEPA to filter to protect the pathogens. And some case we have to use disinfections by using UV, use ozone, right? And ventilation also very important, particularly in the household level. And the last part by using environmental health concept is receptors. How can we protect our people? The simple technique is wear the mask, right? If you are healthy, you want to protect your health, you go to somewhere dense area like department store, hospital, or SkyTrain or subway, like in Bangkok. If you go by train, it might be dense in rush hour, morning, and if in the evening, you should wear the mask because we don't know who are there. Some might be a TB case, a symptomatic TB case that we cannot identify. Yeah, wearing a mask, particularly for indoor exposures. And then how about the mask that you use in your daily life? Did you trust it? Do you believe it or not? That can protect your health from exposure of TB or COVID-19 or flu that you use the mask. You trust it? Can you use like the mask like this? Normally, this mask be used in laboratory scale. In my laboratory, normally if I work in my laboratory, sometimes I have to wear the mask like this because it can protect, because we have the filter inside and protect some chemicals in our laboratory and protect my health, protect my respiratory, right? And normally the mask that you use, I think maybe like this type of mask that you use, right? You can use like this. Do you trust it? And before we have the like commercial mask, I think at that time during COVID-19, difficult to find or to buy the mask. Sometimes in Thailand, we encourage people to use the fabric make a mask, but it might be, difficult to make sure that your mask can protect COVID-19 at that time. And then we also at that time, I, myself, and our team colleagues, we collect the mask as commercial mask in Indonesia, in Taiwan, in Korea, in Thailand. We compare the efficiency of the mask that we collect from each country, and we compare with the standard, the guideline like this, with KF 94, 80, and 95 criteria. And also consider about inhalation airflow, that, okay, you have the oxygen enough for taking a breath for your health, right? This is example of the mask. We use technology to build, to make a mask, but we have to concern the mask can protect your health from the disease or not, or from chemicals or not. And this example you can see for Indonesia is the red dot, the red color. For Thailand is a green color, Korea blue color, and Taiwan is a yellow color. You can see for each criteria 94, 80, and 95. For 94 from this, you cannot see the red dot. That means we cannot find the proper mask from Indonesia according to 94 criteria. For this one, 80 criteria, we found about 4 or 5 mask brand that produced in Indonesia. We found high efficiency of Korea, the blue one. We found the green color from Thailand and yellow color from Taiwan. Yes, this is for 95. Yeah, we found 2 from Korea. Yeah, about 3 from Thailand, only 1 from Indonesia, but we cannot see yellow or from Taiwan. Yeah, that's been, for the mask that we use as daily life, when we test the efficiency, we found like this one. Yes, that means percentage of efficiency to protect our health from the disease or the chemicals. This is also technology, the warning system in Thailand. Yeah, since as I mentioned before, we have more than 100 ambient air quality stations to monitor every minute, but we report in every hour. And we have the alert system of PM 2.5 by many organizations. Ministry of Natural Resources Environment, like Pollution Control Department, Ministry of Public Health from Department of Health, to declare and to inform the people about the hazards of PM 2.5. And also we have application Air for Thai. If you have a smartphone and install this application, you can see every location of Thailand. You go there, just connect, you can see that, oh, how about the air quality in your location? And even though from the website, you can connect, you can see, you want to see detail of this, or is it yellow color? Oh, 134 is AQI. AQI, that means air quality index. Yellow, that means it might be harmful, but the orange color, that means harmful to local people health. Because PM 2.5 is an indicator to determine AQI is 50.1 over the limit, over the standard of Thailand. Because right now, ambient air quality standard in Thailand is 37, but now it's 51. It's 50.1. That means over the standard. That means might induce the harmful impact to local people if they go out and export to air quality at that time. This should be use technology. Also, okay, the next is climate change. For the climate change, you see, this is also from my paper. We used literature review to analyze about the climate change and health impacts. We use narrative review of tropical countries, including Indonesia as well. And then to see what are the health outcomes from exposure to climate change in developing countries like Southeast Asia country or tropical zone. You see, we found that many cases might be occur due to exposure of climate change in terms of extreme event like high temperatures. And then from this, we also recommend to understand about the environmental factors, and then we should provide adaptation and mitigation and encourage our government to think about the public awareness and resilient city or communities in our country. And this also another one. We use the data from Southeast Asia country. In case of extreme weather events, we analyze the data from 1998 to 2021 to see about the dengue case in Southeast Asia. Because the increase of temperature and many factors of environment that change, like flood situation, drought situation, the heat waves, and we found a case of dengue as the delay effect of heat wave and drought situation. And the findings of this paper, we recommend for each country in Southeast Asia country should do something to prevent the people health that we call public health interventions. To understand this, and government can understand and make some policy or action plan. This is another paper that we did in Thailand. We try to see the linkage between hospital admission and high and low temperature exposure in Thailand as nationwide. That means if in Thailand we have high temperature, what will be happen? What are the health outcomes to our people? If low temperatures like -1, -2, or lower than 0 degrees Celsius, what will be happen for our people? From this, we analyze by province and combine as nationwide. We analyze the temperatures and we analyze the linkage between outpatient and inpatient and outpatient in the hospital. We also highlight how can we develop the interventions for our country. Sorry, we cannot use the same approach for the whole country as nationwide because you can see different province, different outcome. Then we should provide proper for each province, proper intervention for each province. This from our study, from our findings. And this is another one. When we combine climate change with PM 2.5 air pollutant, we found more severe because with combined air pollution with climate change, it might induce more severe cases. Number of deaths, number of morbidities in the hospital might be increased from exposure to high temperature and also PM 2.5. Yeah, this is very important. Okay, for the mental health, because before that I also mentioned almost I focus about physical health, right? But mental health also very important. This is our paper. As global level, we work together with our network, our colleagues from different countries. We analyze this one. Before that, we have the case of mental health, mental disorder, right? But from this paper, we try to see the importance of intervention in terms of greenness. That means if you can preserve your forestry, your green area, national park in the city, park in the city, or in the forest, if you can keep this one, that means we can reduce the mental health as well. This before we start this one, some country they already focus and analyze about mental health. But from our study, we want to see if we consider about the greenness. The greenness is associated with mental health. If you have more greenness, the green area, that means you can reduce about 7% of hospital admission in terms of mental health, mental disorder. Right? This is if we found the strong association, and then we should do something like preserve our green area. And for the yellow that I highlight this one, we still have the question for the next step, because exposure response relation is not sure, it's not clear yet. We have to identify more detail about this. This is our next step to conduct my research with my team, with my colleagues. Okay, interventions were very important. Right? This is Thailand. We have National Adaptation Plan for the climate change. Before we provide this one, we have to identify the hazards. This is the hazards from the risk map. We classify by 3 hazards: the heat or high temperature, the floods, the drought, particularly in summer period. In different province, you can see different color. That means the hazards are different in each province, in different region of Thailand. From this, we start to think how can we respond for each hazard that we call intervention or adaptations. Yeah, this is an example of Thailand for the National Health Adaptation Plan. We have the measures, we have the guideline for preventing the climate change and health impacts. And for the guideline number 2, we provide a supporting mechanism of public health that we use technology and know-how and knowledge work together for different organizations and strengthen the capacity, the people, particularly health personnel, to understand this first. And how can we encourage the people to be aware about the health impacts from the exposure, not only for climate change, including air pollution. And how can we improve our public health service, including medical technology, including equipment, including management to respond for the climate change. Particularly staff, health personnel should have more knowledge. We should distribute, educate them to understand and be aware about the hazards of climate change and other hazards, and provide climate change adaptation management properly for each community and each location, not as only for nationwide, because one approach cannot be used for every region, cannot be used for every province in Thailand. Yeah, this is the example of the guideline, like surveillance and forecast system. That before you develop this one, you have to understand data information. Now we have a big data, million cases. You have to understand how to use a technology like computer modeling, computer analysis the data, the big data, and then you will understand. And then you can set up the surveillance system. And then from the surveillance system, you can forecast the future. Oh, if our temperature is increased 0.5 degrees Celsius, what will be happen for the health outcomes? Number of mortality, number of death, number of morbidity will be increased or not? Yeah, this is also from technology that we have. Health insurance system, right? We have to understand this one. That I think many private company that relate to health insurance, now they also think about health outcome from climate change exposures. Linked to the climate-related risk or hazard that I mentioned before. Develop research, knowledge, technology, and innovation to reduce and manage health-related risk. In terms of this, how can we protect our people from exposure of high temperatures? Develop model hospitals, reducing and manage the health risk criteria for our health personnel, the patient in the hospitals. Yeah, this is the technology that we have to develop together among researcher, professor in university, and the health personnel in ministry level, in local organization. Yeah, from research to policy, this is also important. Not only conduct the research and publish your paper, but the findings from your paper, you have to inform your government. This is from our findings, provide to them, but they will use it or not, I don't know. Depends on the policy maker. If they understand that, oh, that's very useful for them, right? They can use benefit from that to make a policy, right? To provide intervention, to provide the implementations, pilot project or something from our research work. Yeah, this is very important. How can we transform the research to policy? Like this. Normally, professor or researcher, you should summarize in terms of policy brief to the government and communicate, collaborate with other organizations, work together. How can we transform this? The knowledge for implementations. Yeah, the government should make the benefit from our research, make a strategic, make the implementation plan later. Yes, like policy formulation, set up the regulation or law or registration, provide the implementation design and pilot scale in one community. If you found is good one, good experience, and then we can share this one, extend not only one community, maybe to other communities, district, provincial levels. Important one is we have to monitor and evaluate and feedback from that. And mobilize our resources, including people where software and moneyware funding to organize, to implement, form strategic plan in the society. Yeah. This is example of the from the history, impact depends on people, right? The more people we have, the more impact will be. The affluence is like income. The more you have income, the more you have money, impact might be. I can give you example, right? If you are a rich guy, you buy Mercedes-Benz, you drive only one alone, but you can compare if with the villager, they use the bus. The bus can carry 50 passengers. Emission the same volumes, but divided by 1 and divided by 50, that means you are rich guy, you drive Mercedes, you generate more air pollutant that impact to our society. And for technology, because in the history we use the old-fashioned technology, they didn't concern about the environment, just produce and produce. Gold mining, they got the gold, but did not concern the environment. They destroy the environment. But now we should move from iPad and the left side to be the right side. Technology should be sustainable technology. Right now, I think everyone know about green technology, environmental technologies. That's very important. We cannot control the population. We cannot reduce the increasing of income or money, but we can control the technology that we use in our society should be sustainable technology to achieve the SDG goals in 2030 right now. Is still on the way to that. I think from this, just keep the message to all of you. Yeah, this is a challenge. How can we understand about sustainable technology and use this technology for our society, not only for industrial sectors, but for our daily life? I will give you an example for the air pollutant. Normally, we use fossil fuel, we burn it, generate air pollutants. But now we have alternatives. We need not use the fossil fuel, not use the not just burn fossil fuel, but now we use alternative energy like solar radiation, produce more clean energy. This example of sustainable technologies that we have to consider this in order to achieve the SDG in 2030. I think normally I have more, I will stop my lecture because it's time for about 1 hour. Terima kasih. ขอบคุณครับอืม Oh, you unmute your microphone, please. I cannot hear your voice. Your microphone is mute. อืม
Clear, Prof? Our voice clear, Prof?
It's not clear. Your voice is not clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, please.
Check. You heard my voice, Prof? Okay. Tapi tadi tuh kalau begini
It's echo, I think.
Ulangi coba. Hakim, speaker. Pakai mic.
Check. You hear my voice, Prof?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much, Prof, for the valuable and insightful presentation. Please give applause for our speaker today, Professor Raja. Right, Prof, I am interested in your statement about air pollution is silent killer. I like that. All right, now we will continue to the discussion and Q&A session, question and answer session to our participants on site and online. Please feel free to raise your hand and please come from. Any question in this room side? Maybe we will start from the right side, maybe the front of is coming forward. Okay, introduce yourself and deliver your question.
Semakin
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
semakin tadi.
Good afternoon, Prof. Thank you for the opportunity. Let me introduce myself. My name is Susanto. My question, what are your recommendations for Indonesia in building okay, sorry. My question, what are your recommendations for Indonesia in building environmentally healthy? Thank you, Prof.
Okay, for Indonesia case, from my experience, we should start from the identification first about the environmental issues, environmental health problems in the countries, because quite difficult, like in Kendari, in Sulawesi Island or other islands in Indonesia. If you want to know about the situation of the air qualities, for example, in Sulawesi, if you want to visit Palu, right, or Makassar, you don't know the situation of air quality in Palu or in Makassar. You cannot connect to a website, you use smartphone. Can you see the data, the situation of that one? Right now, I'm not sure. Like your mobile, you can connect, and then you can see or not. Yeah, I think identification, we need to use a technology to monitor. It's not only from, now we have a sensor. You can order sensor from Lazada or from Shopee or from whatever that you can buy, right? But how about the sensitivity? How about that we can trust that sensor or not? That's the question. Because you order the sensor from the website, you show with your friend, oh, the air quality right now is so bad, very poor, because from my sensor. But how can you believe on that sensor?
How you can believe?
The measurement is accurate or not, right? Then I think the government or something, we can start maybe develop the monitoring about the environmental problem, for example, air quality, about the situation in each city in Sulawesi, and then because if you don't know the information or the status, you cannot set the management or any plan to respond for that. Like in Thailand, compared to 20 years ago, we have only a few stations, and local people in the Northeast, since we didn't have the station yet, and they said, oh, my location, my region is very safe. It's good quality because I saw from the news only in the north and in the east. That means our zone is safe. No, actually it's not. But after that, we install more equipment. We found that in northeastern part or other regions also contaminate with air pollution, because before that you didn't have technology to monitor. Yeah, I think we should identify first about the environmental issues. Yeah, and then this for my recommendation. And right now I heard that in Indonesia they start to create and develop this in many islands and also in the city. Yeah. I think this is starting point, and then from that we can use the technology, the data to analyze. Yep.
Thank you, Professor, for the answer. Maybe I belajar di bahasa. Ini Prof menyarankan rekomendasikan yang pertama itu terkait pemerintah ya untuk mengembangkan alat untuk memonitor khususnya untuk melihat memantau terkait kualitas udara di Indonesia ya, terutama kita di Kendari. Jadi karena saat ini kita tidak bisa menemukan secara real-time bagaimana kondisi kualitas udara kita di negara kita ya. Yang tadi dengan jadi, alright, the next question. Okay, the left side is coming forward and deliver your voice. Introduce yourself. Conditions.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, Prof. Let me introduce myself. My name is Suhanto. My question: what is the biggest challenge in applying technology for disease prevention and developing countries? And thank you.
And sure, please again, it's not clear.
Please,
Your
again,
question.
it's not clear.
Can you repeat your question?
Ulangi.
My question: what is the biggest challenge in applying technology for disease prevention in developing countries?
What is the biggest challenge in apply technology for disease prevention in developing countries from?
What is the challenge?
Biggest challenge.
Challenge of what? Challenge.
Biggest
What is the challenge of what?
challenge in apply technology in developing countries?
Okay, yes. Yeah. Since right now the technology is growing very fast. Particularly young generation, I believe that young generation they can learn from the technologies. But how can we, start to use more technologies? Because now it's quite, worldwide in terms of technology. For example, AI, artificial information, or machine learning. You can learn from the internet. You can learn from the technology from that one worldwide and available. Yeah, I think technology is not difficult for young generation. They can learn maybe from the school, from university, or even though maybe share with the experts. How can we use this one? For example, that I show you my publications. We have a big data like for country in Thailand nationwide, a huge data that we have, but we have to learn how to use the software, the computer, to analyze the data that we have to learn. Yeah, this is this. I don't know that I respond to this question that we have to open our mind to explore and learn more and more, right? Don't be the cup with the full water. The cup should be empty in terms of knowledge and exploring to a new technologies. You can learn it from that. And do that respond the question or not?
Alright, thank you, Profesor. Di bahasa. Jadi tantangan terbesar itu terkait penggunaan teknologi karena ya perkembangan teknologi yang begitu cepat. Jadi kita apalagi kita di Indonesia itu yang masih kekurangan big data, perlu buka pikiran kita untuk mempelajari ya lebih baik lagi dan beradaptasi terkait dengan perkembangan teknologi. Apalagi tadi ada penggunaan AI yang Sekarang aku lagi parah-parahnya. Alright, and then maybe the last question. Okay.
So the first, yeah, the boy in the front seat, he raised his hand. The front seat, then he raised his hand. The front seat, I saw he raised his hand.
Okay, thank you. Please coming forward. Okay, the last prof, the last question.
Mm,
Okay.
mm.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, Prof. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Mohadri. My question: what skills should students develop to be ready for digital innovation in public health?
Again, please. Again, please.
Again.
What skill should student develop to be ready for digital innovation from? What skill student have?
What skills student
Skills,
have?
right?
Yes.
Skills for student.
Yes.
Okay, because right now we have both we call hard skills and also soft skill. For hard skill, that means your career. Now you study health science. That means you should have the skill in terms of the health science. You should understand about science. You should understand about the public health, right? This is we call hard skill. But now important thing is soft skill. For example, in my university, undergraduate student, before they complete the degree, they should provide that they have enough in terms of soft skill. For hard skill, because we have the examination to determine, but for soft skill, we have the program. We provide this, and the student can enroll and also register from our university to learn more about the soft skill. For example, computer literacy. Not only, okay, I can use this one, but at least you should have this one. Or IT technology, you should have this one. The presentation, sometimes you are good in academics. You got A in every subject. But when you talk to the others, the other cannot understand your talk. You know, like some professor, oh, they are very great. But when they talk to the other cannot, oh, what did he say? Quite difficult sometimes, right? Scientists, engineer, they don't know how to communicate to the peoples. Yeah, the communication and presentation skill is very important right now in Thailand. I think at Mahidol University, there are about 6 soft skills for students to learn from that, like presentation, communication skill, this is example, computer skill, AI skills, language skill. That's this example of soft skill. Because we learn health science, then we have to use the benefit from the soft skill. How can we educate the people to understand, to be aware about the health issues? Like talk to the local people, empower the local people to understand this one. Yes, soft skills are really important. Yeah. I you unmute.
I'm sorry, bro. Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, okay.
Alright. I translate bahasa. Profesor mengatakan bahwa skill yang harus dimiliki oleh mahasiswa saat ini yaitu bukan hanya soft skill tapi juga hard skill. Jadi keduanya itu harus dikuasai. Bukan hanya teori saja yang kita pelajari, teori tentang ilmu pengetahuan kita, tentang public health, tapi terkait hard skill ya, kemampuan berbahasa, kemampuan sosial, kemampuan berbahasa, kemampuan berkomunikasi dengan orang lain, terutama mungkin dalam menguasai bahasa ya, seperti sekarang ini ya, perlu peningkatan, kemudian penguasaan komputer dan juga AI, ya, kemampuan yang mungkin skill basic yang harus dikuasai oleh seorang pelajar ya. Alright, I think just 3 questions, Professor. Thank you for all questions and active participation. I believe today we have learned many important perspectives related to technology, innovation, and environmental health control. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the end of the Q&A session. Thank you very much for the active participation and insightful question. On behalf of the committee, I would like to express our deepest appreciation to Professor Kaicha Tantakarnava for the valuable knowledge shared today. It has been an honor for us. Thank you very much, Professor. Can you something in bahasa, Prof, for all participants? Thank you. Terima kasih. Putra.
Okay, sama-sama.
Right, thank you very much.
Yeah, one more thing I would like to inform all of you, including students, since if university have a program to exchange student, like we call inbound, outbound, you can send the student to learn more at our university in different laboratory, different faculties. Last year I have 3 students from I forgot the name. Yeah, okay. In Sulawesi, they come to my laboratory and learn with me 3 months. And not only from Indonesia, we have a student from Canada, from Korea, and work with me at my laboratory. Yeah, this is also a program. If you are interested, you can send a student to learn, and even though the faculty member to be here at we call inbound and outbound, and this is just inform you. And a student, if you are interested, you can apply to the scholarship to learn master or PhD at my
Thank you.
university.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Prof. Thank you, Prof. See you in the next collaboration, Professor. Please give applause once again to our speaker today.
Yes.
Now, I would like to return the session to our dear Masters of Ceremony to continue the next agenda. Please, Ms. Cindy Aprilia Salai, time is yours. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, thank you to our moderator and the amazing speaker today. Okay, next, submission of certificate to research person by the head of the Bachelor of Public Health Study Program, Faculty of Health Science, Mrs. Lydia Udamikasi, Bachelor of Public Health, Master of Health, to Prof. Kaicha Tantakarnava, Master of Science, PhD. Okay, this is the certificate of the speaker today.
Thank you so much. Terima kasih for the certificate.
Thank you, Prof. Our respects audience, that's our activity today. Let's use close this event together by reading Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Hopefully, today's visiting professor activity will be beneficial for lecturer and student, especially the Bachelor of Public Health Study Program. Before we close the event, the committee will take a picture of the screen, and this is expected to the brother and sister of student to turn off the camera. Okay, can you all turn off the camera and the room zoom? Tolong aktifkan kameranya yang di room. Next slide. And thank you. Thank you for the presence of Mr. and Mrs. and all students. Please apologize of the any mistake in the course of this activity. I'm Sia Raya, Bachelor of Public Health, and I'll see you the next event. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Sama-sama. Hope to see you. Hope to visit Canary. Hope to
See
visit
you.
Canary soon.
See you next time, Prof.
Yes. Welcome to Bangkok, huh?
In Thailand.
Yes, in Thailand. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
ขอบคุณครับขอบคุณครับ
Ulang dulu kapan kapnya lagi?
ครับ
Lagi. Sudah nih. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Prof.
Bye-bye. Have a
Bye,
nice
Prof.
day. Student, welcome to Mahidol.
Amin, Prof.
Orang disuruh pergi Thailand.
Yes.
Mati? Off?
You can leave the room, Prof.